to educating young adolescents living with abuse for educators and the families they serve. Next, we will discuss who should report abuse and when they should do it. Then, we will go into some instructional strategies for teachers with students who are or were victims of abuse. According to a North Carolina publication about child abuse reporting laws, it states that every person or institution with cause to suspect that a child is abused or neglected, or that a child has died as a result of maltreatment, must report that child's situation to the County Department of Social Services where the child resides or is found. This mandate sounds simple, however, raises many issues of interpretation, even for those who know about the law and want to comply with it. So what does it mean to have cause to suspect that a child is abused or neglected? Answering that question means looking at a combination of objective and subjective factors. A mere feeling or suspicion that one cannot connect to something observable, to something the child or someone else has said, or to the child's behavior probably is not enough to trigger a duty to report. The standard is not just a suspicion, but cause to suspect. But if there is a suspicion that is backed up by one of the previous situations, that is cause to suspect and should be reported. This person who has cause to suspect that a child is abused or neglected has no duty to conduct any investigation to uncover evidence for the report. He or she is not required to have actual knowledge of abuse, neglect, and physical evidence certainly is not required. If the report is made in good faith, there is no liability risk in reporting. If the child needs help, the Department of Social Services may be able to make appropriate referrals or offer services to the family, even if it turns out that it is not authorized to investigate the matter as a Child Protective Services case. So, how do you make a report, you ask? You first call your local county Department of Social Services, or DSS, and ask to speak with a social worker. Share with the social worker any information you have about the child, their name, address, age, and parent or caregiver name, and what makes you suspect abuse. What happens after you report? If your report is accepted for assessment, DSS will initiate an assessment within 24 hours for abuse or 72 hours for neglect. The assessment will include a visit to the home and interviews with the child, his or her family, and others. DSS will work to protect the child while helping the family address issues that may be contributing to the abusive or neglectful behavior. Families most frequently work with DSS to receive services in the form of counseling, emergency foster care, help with basic needs, parenting classes, and intensive in-home services. Now, what we can do to support abused students in our classrooms. Aggression is one of the most prevalent forms of poor behavior in the classroom. This happens because a child or adolescent is copying and identifying with the adult behavior at home. What we can do as teachers is keep our cool. It is important to note that because students spend a lot of time at school, they are influenced by our behavior as well. Another common aggressive behavior that is seen by teachers of abused adolescents is anger. These children may be outraged by their maltreatment, so they spill their rage on safe targets such as classmates and teachers. A couple of strategies are that we can acknowledge their anger and tell them that they are entitled to their feelings, which will help them recognize their personal symptoms of anger. We can also help them learn and use cooling down techniques such as deep breathing, writing, drawing, and scribbling in order to help them control their feelings. One more behavior that is commonly seen in classrooms is the feeling of helplessness. This is caused by the fact that they cannot protect themselves from the abuse or neglect that they have suffered. We can help these students obtain positive senses of power and control over their destinies by allowing them to make choices about the work they do in class. Sometimes victims of abuse or neglect can hurt others in the classroom without seeming to care. This is because they have repressed feelings of hurt, which destroys their empathy, and they do not realize that others feel pain. The first thing we need to do as teachers in this situation is stop the child from hurting others. Then we should acknowledge their pain, which appropriately models empathy to them, so they may be able to acknowledge through empathy the pain of others. Deliberately annoying others is another common complaint from teachers. Abusive teens is unpredictable, which makes them feel helpless. Therefore, if they deliberately provoke a misbehavior, they know exactly why they are being punished and they feel more in control. We as teachers can make the classroom environment predictable by following a routine. We can provide advanced preparation for changes and allow the students to make class rules and decide on appropriate consequences of breaking them. Another reason why teens may deliberately annoy others is because some young adolescents receive very little stimulation except when they are abused. Therefore, they may provoke punishment in order to get attention. As teachers, we can give the student positive attention, praise them for improvement in accomplishments, give them responsibilities in the classroom. We can listen to their ideas and ask them to share a hobby or special knowledge with the class. We could even call them if they're absent. Young adolescents that live with abuse can also be seen dissociating themselves or daydreaming. They may become spacey in school when they experience an echo of their painful abuse. As teachers, we can stand by the student and gently bring them back, maybe by softly calling their name. Teachers should not reprimand the student for dissociating. This will help them deal with the feelings of sadness and anger from their abuse. Fearing failure is often seen in the classroom as well. This is because some parents have unrealistically high expectations and the child is physically or emotionally abused if they do not live up to the expectation. Children may be paralyzed by the fear. We as teachers can try to provide a fail-safe environment in the classroom. We can use a problem-solving model for dealing with misbehavior by stating the problem, brainstorming solutions, choose a solution, and implementing it. After we have tried this, we can evaluate it and see if it worked. If it didn't, we can repeat the process. So as you can see, working with young adolescents living with abuse can be a daunting and challenging task. However, the benefits can be deeply rewarding as well. I hope you have gained a little insight into the prevalence of abuse, the warning signs, how and when to report abuse, and what we can do as teachers and parents of young adolescents who are or have suffered from abuse to help them overcome the hardship and emotional pain left over from it. Thank you for watching.